klimatu! Razem dla 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 klimatu!
We're here on the eve of the COP24 in Poland, and that was the purpose of calling today's demonstration. Poland is setting the tone for what they want the outcome of COP24 to be by appointing, wait for it, a coal company as a sponsor of COP24, introducing draconian anti-terrorist laws to stop demonstrations from taking place, and that's why we're here outside of the Polish embassy in solidarity with the brave environmentalists who in a week's time will hold their own demonstration in Katowice outside of the COP24 talks.
We, citizens of Poland, of Europe and of the world, recognize how important this moment is in the history of our planet. We know how little time we have left to repair the damage that we and past generations have caused. We are appealing to representatives of the 196 countries gathered at the Climate Summit in Katowice. Stop dodging your responsibilities and start thinking of the world that awaits our children. It's time to show that our country, which is still addicted to coal, can move away from fossil fuels and do so in a quick and equitable way. It's time for us all to wake up. Thank you for your solidarity. Let's take our next step together. This is the last chance.
Climate justice! Now! Climate justice! Now!
The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change report just weeks ago made it so clear that we have just 12 years to drastically reduce climate emissions.
We have 10 years, tops, to be able to decarbonise our economy by 50%. And then that qualifies you for the next 10 years, where you need another 50%. And then the next 10 years, where you need another 50%. Miss any one of those, and you have missed the qualifiers. You are out of the game.
We're still heading not for 1.5, not for 2 degrees warming, for anything up to 5 to 7 degrees warming. It's because we're in a system, an economic system that says that black and brown and poor people can be sacrificed in the interests of profit.
This system was built on the backs of indigenous people and brown and black people, and that continues to this day. There are indigenous communities and black and brown communities in the global south who are currently disproportionately affected by this unsustainable capitalist system. We need to remember the connection between capitalism, colonialism and climate change.
Deforestation has been rising in the Amazon, and recent numbers show that last year saw the highest deforestation rate in 10 years, having grown by 14%. With Bolsonaro's government, this is likely to get much, much worse.
We in the UK began the Industrial Revolution and the era of coal power. We benefited from the economic wealth it brought us. We were the very first major polluter of our atmosphere, and we bear huge responsibility for the climate change that is now afflicting people in poorer countries across the world.
What we've got is a deafening silence from our own government.
We know that there can be no more exploitation of new sources of fossil fuels. Yet the industry is spending $100 million a day on exploration. We know that the cheapest way to generate electricity in this country is by onshore wind and solar. Yet these have been withdrawn.
What we have in reality is a government fatally influenced by big business interests standing up for dirty oil and fracking companies.
We can actually stop fracking. We were actually 3 of dozens of people who stopped that convoy of lorries from delivering the drill supports for the drilling rig. Quadrilla has invested £100 million in their site, and they haven't got a penny off the gas yet. And every protest we do is painful. Every day that we stop them from working costs them £94,000.
The government might have voted through a third runway at Heathrow, but the fight is still going on.
By 2050, emissions from aviation will constitute around 25% of total UK emissions. We will not accept a third runway at Heathrow. will not set the falls anywhere.
4 environmental activists were killed every week globally in 2017. We acknowledge our privilege to be able to partake in civil disobedience without major consequences, and we have to use that privilege.
Yesterday in Australia, over 8,000 school students walked out of school in Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane. On Wednesday before that, 1,700 went to the Parliament in Canberra. The Prime Minister told them to go back to school. The Australian Resources Minister said they should be in school learning about mines, geology and how to drill for oil and gas. But those kids, they are not going to sit down, they are not going to shut up, they are not going to be silenced, and neither are we.
We know the money is there to fund a just deal for climate action. We know the technology is there to deliver a zero carbon society. And we know that tackling climate change is not something that can cut jobs, but can actually increase jobs with a just transition.
We're talking about not thousands of jobs, millions of jobs that are going to be created once we decide that the sustainability economy is what we have to strive for.
We need more than just saying stop fossil fuels. We need to have a vision of the world which is fairer, which is more equal, which is safer. We can connect our fight for economic justice and against austerity to the fight for climate justice.
It's really uplifting to go around and see really exciting, authentic grassroots projects that are pioneering new relationships with how we do things, new relationships to how we move ourselves around, how we get energy. The science says we must, the technology says we can, it's time to say we will.